Hey everybody, welcome back to my Python 3 for Beginners tutorial. In this video we're going to go over something called functions. Functions are very important in programming in any language, not just Python. A function allows you to write a bit of code and allow you to execute that code in multiple parts of the program without having to write the code over and over and over and over again. So in this video we are going to write two functions. The first one's just kind of show you how to do a function. The second one's going to be a bit more of a practical use. So you can kind of see, how functions can really work and really save you time and really just be something that's very helpful and even save you lines of code, many lines of code. So let's get started. To define a variable in Python, you put def, which basically means define, and then after that you name the variable whatever you want. We'll just name this one hello world, and then you have to put the parentheses right there because all functions require the parentheses, and then a colon, just like you would a loop or an if statement. Now I can tell it to print hello world. Now, if I want to use this function, I simply just go hello world, like that. And when I run it, it'll print hello world. So that's simple. That's a function. Now, if I want to do a function, let's say that converts Fahrenheit to Celsius, I can do something like def f to c. Now, in this function, we are going to have to give it a number, and it's going to have to convert that number from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So because we have to give it a variable, we're going to put in these parentheses what we want it to be called. So we're going to call it temp, and then put colon. Now for the variable, or I'm sorry, for the function, what we want it to do is we want to set a variable called temperature equals temp minus 32 times 0.5556, because that is the equation for Fahrenheit to Celsius. Now, this isn't going to work as you expect, and I'll show you why and show you how to fix it. But for now, let's just set it like this, and we'll print temperature. And then down here, I would go F to C, and I simply would put 32 in there. Now, 32 degrees Fahrenheit is 0 Celsius. If I run it the way that it is, I get 14.2208. Let me explain why. Python and other programming languages basically handle everything like algebra, and they do the order of operations. So for the order of operations, you would always multiply before you would subtract. So to basically tell Python what to do first, we would put this here in parentheses because we want it to subtract 32 from the temperature first and then multiply it by 0.5556. So now if I run that, I will get 0, and that's correct. So that's very important when you're doing any kind of even basic math like this in Python or other programming languages over the years. It's very important to remember your order of operations because that's how the computer's going to execute them. So let's go over this function one more time. So I told it to define a function f to c, which stands for Fahrenheit to Celsius. It doesn't matter what I would have named this. And then inside the parentheses, I'm putting temp. And temp is basically what this 32 is. Anytime I put anything in here, that's what's going to be, that's the number that it's going to convert. Then I put the colon to let it know, okay, this is the end of the line that's defining the function. Now let's actually do the function. So here I assign a variable doing the math temp, which will be this number, minus 32 times 0.5556. Now that is actually the equation for converting Fahrenheit to Celsius. That's not something I did. I could make it so that this is, instead of having temp in here, I could take this away. I could put a number here and just have it convert that over and over and over and over again, the same number. But we don't want to do that. We want to give it a different number every time, which is why we put temp here. And we can feed in whatever number we want right here. And then after we do the equation, we want to tell it to print the answer from that equation. So we did print temperature. So now another thing I could do is I could do F to C 64. I could do F to C 55. And it'll give me all the different Celsius degrees based off of the Fahrenheit degrees that I put in right here. So you can do multiple lines, and that just goes to show you can write this code one time and you can execute it many times very easily. So if I was going to do this code right here and then print it out for each one of these, that would be an extra, what, 6 lines of code that I did in 3. So I literally did all of this with half the code that it would normally take. So that's another reason functions are very helpful. You can break functions down. You can break your code into blocks that way and keep it more manageable, but also write less code, which is also in the end going to make whatever you're writing execute quicker because it's not as large. So that's functions. You can see why they're important, and you can see how useful they can really be. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.